Welcome back. I'm your host, Teddy Lim from John L. Scott Real Estate. We have finally arrived at the last step of our Money House Keys method of buying a home. And I just want to go ahead and dive right in. Closing day, the most important day, okay? This is when title and ownership gets transferred to the new buyer. You will now have the privilege of being able to get the keys, and possession, which is a scheduled day in advance of when you actually get to move in. All right. Before closing and possession could happen, there's so many things that are going on behind the scenes. And I just want to go through the checklist of what those final steps are in order to get us to closing day. All right. Without further ado, we want to make sure that before we close, is that we actually clear all of our contingencies, okay? So what are your contingencies? I'd like to use the acronym FIAT for that, because these are the four main contingencies that we use in a transaction. We kind of went over that already in our house section, but your contingencies are your financing contingency, your inspection contingency, your appraisal contingency, and your title contingency. All right. So we went over that a little bit already. I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but you want to make sure that there are no encumbrances, there's no title disputes, there's no boundary disputes with your title. That's gonna be the biggest thing. Step 2 is a little bit of repetition of that, because with title, you're also going to want to make sure that they process everything. Title and escrow, we like to use these terms interchangeably, but with title and escrow, you're going to want to make sure that they account for also all of your prepaids. And what are your prepaids? Those are the utilities that you will be paying for in advance, because that's how utilities are billed here in King County, okay? But at the same time, you want to make sure that the previous owner or the seller about to be the previous owner actually settles their section of the utilities as well, all right? So that's step 2. Step 3 is to get your final mortgage approval, all right? If you're going to be working with a really good lender, they're going to make sure to always update you on the status of your file, whether or not there's something that's happening. Do expect them to at least talk to you once every 7 days. That way you could be kept abreast of the most recent progress and updates on your loan. Now, with step number three, I do want to emphasize that you would not want to make any large purchases or borrow a huge amount of money anytime between after you get your pre-approval for your mortgage up until the day that we actually close. And why is that? Because there has been instances when a client of mine, all right, inadvertently made a purchase and was not made aware of the fact that it could affect their debt to income ratio in terms of the monthly payments for their house. Luckily for this buyer, it didn't really affect their payment that much. But sometimes when ratios are really tight, it could potentially derail a sale, which is, not so bad, but it could also prevent you from getting approved for a mortgage, depending on how bad the damage is. So just a quick mental note that you wanna write down or put in your head. Don't make any credit applications whatsoever, whether it's for, buying a car. Don't buy furniture, okay, before you move in. Please, please, please. Don't plan for any major trips and put it on a credit card or take out the funds from your checking account, checking or savings account, right? Avoid moving large sums of money when you are in the process of buying a home. Not unless, of course, you get the approval of your lender or our lender. Okay? So these are just reminders, all right? Get your final mortgage approval. Make sure that underwriting is clear, everything is good. Okay? Step number 4 is to review your closing disclosures. Closing disclosures normally come from the mortgage company or the lender, where they actually give you a breakdown of your final expenses, the amount of money that you would have to bring at closing, and an estimate of your title escrow fees, closing costs, down payments, and also your monthly payments as well. So it could change ever so slightly at the day of closing, but it's normally a pretty good estimate of what you should expect at closing. All right. Step 5 is to do a final walkthrough. I cannot stress enough the importance of doing a final walkthrough, whether or not we inspected the property, or whether I should say, we should always inspect the property, but whether or not we put a repair inspection contingency in place, okay? Because right now, with how busy the market is, it does happen quite often that some buyers would waive their inspection contingency, which usually means that they will not negotiate repairs for a property. And so what you want to make sure is the way you saw the house when we were taking a look at it, when we were viewing it, is as it is right before moving day. All right. So all we have to do is schedule that. That's not a big deal. We could always schedule that for you. But we do need the permission of the seller in order to perform a final walkthrough. So just a quick note on that. Step 6 is to bring necessary documentation for closing day. This would usually mean, identification, your checkbook, and or your wiring information. Okay, and so title and escrow will actually give you a checklist of what to bring. So just make sure to be in good communication with them, so that way they could give you that checklist. Okay. So once all is said and done, we actually schedule a signing day for you. And shortly after that, we schedule a key handoff, okay? It usually happens in the same day, but sometimes it can happen at another day, simply because closing doesn't necessarily happen on the same day that you're signing, all right? And after that, we do the happy dance. Congratulations, you're now a new homeowner, all right? So this is where we do the happy dance, and we're good to go once we schedule the key handoff. Now, a quick distinction between closing and possession that all of the buyers need to know is that most of the time, closing and possession happens on the same day. All right. What possession means is that you're entitled to actually get the keys by the contract, by Northwest Multiple Listing Service Contracts, which is the standard contracts that we use. Possession actually is at 9 p.m. of the closing day. All right. Now, nobody would want to come in and move into the house at around 9 p.m. All right. So what that means is that we usually assume that you could actually move in the next day, or if you would like, we could also negotiate a difference of time for you on closing day. But what it does need to coincide with is what we call recording. And what recording means is when we're fully recorded, it means that title has already transferred at county, okay? Because that's where all the public records are stored for every single real estate transaction. So what needs to happen first is that we need to record, which means that the funds have been transferred from one party to the other. Title has been transferred. Title of ownership has been transferred from one party to the next, seller to buyer, obviously. And from that point, that's when we can move in. All right? So, recording, possession is usually 9 p.m. We could negotiate that to be a little bit earlier. But we usually avoid moving in before the transaction is closed, said and done. All right? So, that wraps up, okay, our money, house, keys method of buying a home. And the bonus section is, like I said, a bonus section. You could stick around and watch the next videos coming up. But for now, you are now armed with the information that you're going to need in order to feel more relaxed, to be more confident, to see what all the steps are in the transaction of buying a home. A metaphor that, one of my favorite metaphors is what Martin Luther King said about the staircase. You know, you don't need to see the entire staircase. You just need to see the next steps. And what we just laid out here for you is actually the entire staircase. And so with our guidance, with our negotiation, with our experience and our wisdom and our knowledge in the real estate industry right now, you could be armed and very confident of moving forward with the next steps of buying a home. And so I, myself, Teddy Lim, my team are looking forward to working with you. We'd love to earn the opportunity to earn your business, and basically whatever it is that we would need to do in order to earn that, please let us know what we do need to do to earn that opportunity, and we'd be more than happy to do it for you. All right? So once again, Teddy Lim at John L. Scott Real Estate. My direct cell phone number is area code 206-899-6396. Feel free to call me, text me, DM me. I'm on all the socials. My email address is info@tlimre.com. That's teddylimrealestate.com. But tlimre for short. And that's it. All right? Are you ready to become a new homeowner? Share, like, subscribe, give us some feedback, what we could improve, what we could have gone over, what we missed, whatever it could be. Please feel free to write in the comments, okay? Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon. And cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.